Welcome back, fight fans, to the second episode of Neutral Corner. Today we're going to be talking about Manny Pacquiao's resurgence, why he decided to come back after winning against Bradley. Joining me today is Mike Ochosa, who was lucky enough to do the coverage, the local coverage of the Pacquiao-Bradley 3.
Right.
Mike, how was Pacquiao's performance in that fight?
Over the 3 fights, that was his best performance. However, there's something quite intriguing about that. Let me share with you the numbers. The average number of punches that Pacquiao threw in the first fight was 63.
Okay.
And then it went down to 47, and then it went down to 37
Wow.
in the third fight.
Okay.
The other side of the coin, Bradley started with 70 average per round in the first fight,
Right.
and then went to 52,
Okay.
and then went down to 25.
Okay.
All right. Now, Pacquiao won the third fight handily, with a unanimous decision. But there you see that he worked less
Right.
against Bradley.
Right.
But again, you also see Bradley's numbers at 25. That means he did very well to defend and prevent Bradley from throwing punches against him.
Okay.
Because boxing is about not being hit. That's the first rule of boxing. You don't get hit. And he was able to connect with more telling blows, blows that the judges saw, and then gave the rounds to him. So he did perform so much better in the third fight
Right.
than the second and the first. And to me, covering that fight, I actually said on air that I think that Manny came at 100%. The old Manny came to say goodbye to
Right.
everybody else, to the whole world of boxing, because I think in his mind, that was his last fight.
Or, not really a goodbye.
Right.
A little bit of a hiatus, don't you think?
Obviously, now we know.
It didn't take that long for him to make a resurgence,
Right.
and I think that's why we're here to
Right.
figure out why he came out of his retirement,
Right.
if we can even call it that. No?
Right, right. But the Bradley fight really shows that Manny can still fight
Right.
Against anyone out there. Even if he was pitted against Crawford, for example, and
Right.
in this case Vargas, younger fighters, if he would come into a fight with that mindset against Bradley and the way he prepared for that and he
Right.
performed with that, I think Manny's going to be performing quite well in this next fight against Vargas.
I have a question though.
Yes.
How does Manny's age play a factor against Jesse Vargas? I mean, Jesse Vargas, as we mentioned in the previous episode, is taller
Right.
and younger.
Right.
But how does Manny's age play to his advantage or disadvantage?
That's a very good question because that's one variable no boxer nor trainer can actually predict
Really?
as to when it's going to kick in.
Okay.
Okay. When I say age factor, you're an athlete and everybody else who actually play any sport will know what I'm talking about. It's when your body
Yes.
doesn't follow your mind. Simply put, that's
Guilty.
when age starts to kick in.
Right.
And you will never know when that will happen. And that's one variable that Manny is using
Right.
for himself. But if that starts to kick in your question, that might be a problem for Manny Pacquiao, being 38 years old against a very young, hungry 27-year-old.
So would you think that Manny Pacquiao stands a better chance given all the variables we were talking about
Right.
against Vargas's hunger? Sometimes you just have to be hungry
Right.
and 100% that day. No matter what your skills are, no matter how much you prepared, if you're hungry and
Right.
you're 100%, you
Right.
give it your all, what are the chances in that scenario?
That's what we're going to talk about later on, about Vargas. But with Manny Pacquiao, that's also true for him. He needs to want this fight.
Exactly.
Even if a lot of people think that it is an easy fight for him.
Right.
All variables say that he has the advantage.
Right.
And that's why a lot of people look at this fight, and it's not a good fight, it's a small fight. Certainly it's a small fight, smaller fight than all the others. But to say that it's not a good fight doesn't give respect to a Jesse Vargas, who's, for everybody's information, is the champion.
Right.
He is the
He holds the title.
He holds the title. He's the WBO World Welterweight Champion at 147. And that's who he is. And at the end of the day, if I were him and I were a real competitor, I would look at you guys and say, this is the time that I want to prove to the world that I can be the best fighter out there against this guy who's still at the prime of his life. And I'm talking about Manny Pacquiao. If I beat him from a Vargas point of view, then it will catapult me to another level.
Oh, definitely.
In my career.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think Vargas has more to gain from this
Right,
fight.
that's true.
Yes.
That's a good way of looking at it. However, when Manny comes in, he does have all the advantages. And
Exactly.
we talk
The
about
experience
we talk about the
points.
baseline numbers. The
Right.
power is the advantage is to Manny. The speed is
right.
to Manny. The experience, you give it to Manny. The stature, you
Right.
give it to Manny. And Vargas comes in as the underdog, and I will not say that that's not true. However, because you're fighting with those variables, against those variables, who knows what Jesse Vargas might be willing to do to be able to win against Manny Pacquiao.
Right. So as the fight comes closer and closer, of course, it is brewing more excitement from everyone out there, including myself. And I can't wait to see, you know, where this is going to go in the next few days. Anything can happen.
That's right. I agree. You know, you have to look at what's going to happen in the next few weeks,
Yes.
and then that's when you decide if it's going to be a good fight
Right.
or not. But at this point, look at all the variables, look at all the changes, and just wait for all those updates
Right.
and videos that you might be able to see in terms of how they are training.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, this upcoming fight is going to be an interesting one because you have a hungry lion, as they say, and they call Manny the legend already.
Right.
So, you know, you guys, if you want more updates, keep it here on Solar Sports for everything and anything about the Pacquiao Vargas encounter. My name is Ochosa.
My name is Amanda Fernandez, and we'll see you guys soon.